Breaking the seal, Marvin pulled out a single sheet of paper. The handwriting was precise, almost mechanical. Marvin, it is time you learned the truth. The crash was no accident. Your parents were killed for what they knew. Their deaths were a message meant to keep the rest of us silent. Meet me at the coordinates below if you want answers. Do not trust anyone. Below the message were a series of numbers coordinates that pointed to a remote location in the mountains. Marvin's breath caught. His parents. Murdered? It didn't make sense. They were loving, ordinary people. They weren't revolutionaries or whistleblowers, or so he thought. But the words struck a chord deep within him, awakening a suspicion he had buried long ago. The next morning, Marvin set out for the coordinates. The drive was long and uneventful, the road winding deeper into the wilderness with each passing mile. By the time he reached a designated spot, the sun was beginning to set, casting the forest in hues of gold and crimson. He parked the car and stepped out. Scanning the area, a figure emerged from the shadows of the trees, a tall man with salt-and-pepper hair and piercing blue eyes. He wore a long coat that gave him the air of an old-world scholar. "Marvin," the man said, his voice low and measured. "I'm Elias. I knew your parents." Marvin's heart raced. "Who are you? What is this about? What do you mean, my parents were killed?" Elias gestured for Marvin to follow him into the trees. They walked in silence until they reached a small clearing where a fire crackled, its flames dancing in the twilight. "Your parents were part of a resistance," Elias began, his gaze fixed on the fire. "A group of truth seekers dedicated to exposing the lies that have kept humanity enslaved for millennia. They discovered truths that were never meant to come to light." "What truths?" Marvin demanded. Elias turned to him, his expression grave. "The truth about our existence, about the nature of our world, everything you've been taught about space, aliens, the very shape of the earth, it's all a fabrication. Our world isn't a sphere floating in infinite space. It's flat, enclosed beneath an impenetrable dome." Marvin blinked, his mind reeling. "That's impossible. We've seen images of Earth, of the planets, fabrications." Elias interrupted, "Designed to distract and mislead us. Beyond the gates of Antarctica lies more land, more domes, and civilizations they don't want us to know about. But the greater truth lies beneath our feet." Marvin frowned. "Beneath?" Elias nodded. "Deep underground. There exists a race of beings we call the Confusion. They've been here for eons, manipulating humanity, keeping us in a perpetual cycle of ignorance and control. Every time we begin to awaken spiritually, every time we start to grasp our true potential, they reset us, plunging us back into darkness."